At 6 p.m. on October 27th, 2014, a 17-year-old boy named Jesus Meneses was playing basketball with a group of friends on an outdoor basketball court at Kinloch Park in Miami, Florida. At some point, when Jesus and his team had possession, one of his teammates just got frazzled by the defense and just took this crazy three-point shot from way behind the line, and the ball just sailed right past the hoop, completely missed it, air ball, and it bounced and then went clean over this chain link fence on the edge of the park. Jesus and all of his friends let out a collective groan because they knew basically anything that went over that fence was pretty much gone forever. To Jesus' surprise, one of his friends turned to Jesus and was like, "Hey, why don't you just hop the fence and go get the ball?" Now, Jesus really did not want to do that, and his mom and dad had always told him to never, ever climb that fence. Never. But now, Jesus' friend who had asked him to do this had kind of like turned it into a dare, and he's like, "No, really, come on, Jesus, like, go hop the fence and get the ball." And the other friends had kind of picked up on this, and they were kind of egging it on, being like, "Yeah, Jesus, go over there, get the ball." He didn't want to look weak or scared, and so he's thinking to himself, hey, what's the worst that could happen? And so Jesus left the basketball court and walked over to this fence. And it was about 7 feet tall, and there was all this barbed wire across the top of it. And so as he's standing there looking at the fence, he turns back around, and his friends are all smiling like, "Yeah, go get it." And he begins climbing the fence. And he gets to the top, and he reaches the barbed wire, and he very carefully positions himself so he doesn't cut himself on the way over. And right after he's cleared the barbed wire, he kind of tumbles to the other side of the fence. He hits the ground and realizes he's okay. And he turns and looks through the fence now at his friends, and they're all cheering him on. And sure enough, there's the basketball just a few feet away. Picks up the basketball and chucks it over the fence back to his friends. When he happened to look back in the direction of where his basketball had been, and he noticed there was another basketball that somebody else had lost over this fence. Except this basketball was on the other side of a second fence. These were the two fences that Jesus and everybody who ever came to this park were warned about. But Jesus has already climbed the first one, and he's thinking, I can climb the second one too, and I can get that basketball, and then we'll have two. He carefully climbs to the top, and he kind of positions himself over the barbed wire, and then he drops down to the other side. Within seconds of Jesus landing inside of that second fenced-in area, his friends back on the court saw what was going on and began totally panicking. And then minutes later, first responders show up, and they know right away there's virtually nothing they can do to save Jesus. The reason these fences were totally off limits inside of the second fenced-in area was an electrical power grid. When he landed inside of that second fenced-in area, he landed on a live electrical wire. And the second he did, 500,000 volts of electricity coursed through his body. And so unfortunately, Jesus died almost immediately.